Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of the Mission Matters Business Podcast, your source for all things business. My name is Adam Torres. You can follow me on Instagram at AskAdamTorres. Keep up with my book releases, book tour schedule, signings, all that other good stuff. Always love to connect with you there. And as always, if you'd like to apply to become a co-author of one of my upcoming books, just head on over to the website, missionmatters.com, and click on Become an Author to apply. All right, so today I have John Parks on the line, and he's founder and CEO over at O2 Health Lab. John, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much, Adam. Really appreciate it.
So, John, excited to have you on the show today. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this this milestone that you have, opening up your new Newport Beach national model for expansion. So first off, congrats on that. That's a big deal, and we're going to get into that. But before we do, I want to get a little bit further into your background. How did you get started in this business and in your career?
Well, my career prior to was more as an entrepreneur and had been very successful. And about 4 years ago, retired early, thinking I was just going to have fun in life. And right after that happened, I had a bunch of orthopedic issues that spiraled out of control into neurological issues that spiraled out of control into more issues, and I ended up in a hospital bed for about 4 months. Unable to walk, unable to do anything, thinking I was really not going to be around much longer.
My gosh.
Luckily it was quite challenging. And luckily had a couple amazing angels. One was a physical therapist who came to my house every day and encouraged me to stand for 15 seconds and walk with a walker. And he started to practice visualization with me. And I was always a surfer, a skier, a swimmer, an athlete my whole life, and I envisioned that getting back to the ocean. And one of the things I realized was no matter how well off you are, you can't buy any extra time on this earth. But I did put everything I could into it and was constantly getting frustrated, getting re-injured, very slow process. If you do the most you can do over a week, you can probably gain about 10% strength. So if you start with a 1 pound weight, you go to a 1.1 pound weight. So it was about a 2-year process to get better. And I found through a radio interview that hyperbaric oxygen therapy doubled the rate of healing. And so I Googled it and found this amazing location in Mission Viejo. Met this amazing individual by the name of Mark Westaway, who had two incredible therapies, hyperbaric oxygen therapy and a CVAC cellular fit pod. And I was able, over about 7 months, to radically improve my state of health, come back to about 80%, get back to things. And while you can't buy time on this earth, I was able to attain some quality of life time back, and was just really thought I was going to just enjoy life again. And then Mark shared with me that he had really struggled in business. He had been at that clinic for about 8 years, never had a raise, supposedly owned 25% of it, had never received any distribution. And when I was really sick, I prayed for an opportunity to come back. But I didn't know what to do after, I figured I had to volunteer in an old person's home or something to get back. And I instantly knew my purpose was to help make Mark a retirement fund. And so on that basis, we've been on this incredible 2-year mission to combine all these innovative health therapies and in very unique ways. And I've completely empowered Mark. He is one of the top in the country. He has literally treated thousands and thousands of people over a 4-year career in hyperbarics. Doctors from all over the country call him for his expertise, even though he's not a doctor. He's humble, but he will tell you something funny. He says, I'm one of the worst businessmen that you could ever imagine. So it was like a marriage made in heaven. We've done this two-year process. We've 4 locations. We just opened up our national state-of-the-art platform in Fashion Island, just sharing all these amazing health and wellness benefits, therapies, technologies that are what we call supercharged self-care.
What an unbelievable story. I have chills right now. This is amazing. I can tell you I've heard quite a few stories about how business partners met or other things like that, but never anything like this. This is amazing. And I love that the way it came about obviously is not orthodox, but I love the compliment. Like, Mark is a master at what he does. You're great at business. So the two just fit. It just makes sense.
Well, I always called myself a gardener. I just knew how to water the plants and make things grow. And I saw Hyperbarics as an anchor tenant in a very larger performance health mall. And most of the facilities across the country that exist are very medical. They're very sterile. Ours is very zen, and we're on a mission to both combine what these powerful therapies can do with the healing mind-body experience. How, every professional baseball player sees themselves hitting that pitch over that home run. Every football player sees themselves catching that touchdown. So we're going to actually program in and teach individuals as part of their own self-care how they can energize their own bodies to participate in the preventative wellness, into the amazing therapies that we have. And it's over the last 2 years, we've met hundreds of individuals who've now joined our team and get referrals by so many different physicians, and so it's been just a very exciting mission that we've been on.
Man, I love this, and that's hilarious. You said you see yourself as a gardener. I've never heard anybody else put it that way, but I always tell people, hey, I just know how to dig. I do one interview at a time, and there we go, and we get somewhere. They always tell me that, and I'm like, one shovel at a time. That's all I know. I can focus on one interview at a time, and this is why I do what I do.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. I mean, you can only sell one person at a time. I had been in sports marketing over my career. I started with the Olympics when I was a young buck. I learned you have to do each step. You have to. It's funny. Everybody asks you, you've been successful. Yeah, it's only been a overnight success in 15 years. So it takes a lot of hard work, but I was able to apply a lot of failures, and that's where you learn the most from that. And I think the key to being successful is just getting over fear. I always say as an entrepreneur, I had 2 emotions. One was agony and one was ecstasy. Agony that I was about to fall off a cliff, and ecstasy when I did. And most people's lives are defined by how they get back up when they're knocked to the floor. And so having been knocked to the floor a bunch of times, I feel confident about getting back up.
That's awesome. Let's go a little bit further into O2 Health Lab. So tell us a little bit more about the model, the location. Give us a little bit more of a feel for that, geography-wise, where you're at, all that good stuff.
Okay, well, we're based in Orange County, which is just south of LA in Southern California, and we feature several different innovative therapies. Hyperbaric oxygen therapy has actually been around for 400 years, but has evolved, and it actually, it's sort of like taking a dive 10, 15, 20 feet in the ocean. By adding oxygen and pressure, that actually, in a way, circumvents your normal circulatory system and pushes oxygen directly into plasma, tissue, lymph system, and as a result of that, there's significant benefits to healing and to expediting. So we get a lot of plastic surgeons that refer to us, surgeons, because studies show that it's been able to speed healing 30 to 50%. We have all sorts of different conditions that doctors refer for, everything from Lyme disease to potentially cancer as an adjunctive treatment, where the physicians are treating in other ways. And we also focus a lot on anti-aging and performance. And so we also have light therapy, photobiomodulation light therapy, which is really the body's version of photosynthesis. And there's some amazing study coming out in terms of we have a very high-end light therapy bed that has been shown to decrease pain and increase recovery, and then has amazing cosmetic benefits for the skin and things like that. We also have a Newcom neuroscience device that helps you attain a parasympathetic state within about 90 seconds. And in this world of stress right now, you could imagine. We have the NanoV cellular repair therapy that actually shoots a signal in that has been study showed has been identified as the exact cell signal for cellular repair. And anything from cryotherapy to infrared saunas in a very zen, soothing, calming, healing environment that allows people to really really focus on their own self-care and preventative wellness.
Wow, I love this. So when you said it was a real holistic approach, you mean from multiple angles with different technologies, and I think it's spectacular what you guys are doing. Like you're covering a lot of different things.
Yeah, it's been really exciting, and a couple of missions that we're on. That a lot of these, there's been some others that have done some similar types of things, and they look at these as individual therapies. And our whole goal is scientifically sort of studying and understanding how you can combine all these. This might be a 6 out of 10, and this might be a 5 out of 10, but together they're 25. And so some of the areas that we're really looking into is mitochondrial dysfunction, inflammation, perfusion, microcirculation. One of the areas that we're very fond and hopeful on is that we deal with a lot of people with concussion, with traumatic brain injury, with PTSD, with stroke. And when you can make a difference in somebody's life that's really struggling, I think that just is so incredibly rewarding. We deal with a lot of veterans and try to help them and in really trying circumstances feel good about the successes that we're making.
And that's awesome. Tell us a little bit more about the model for expansion and that piece of the pie, if you will.
Sure. We're just turned 2 years old, so I guess.
Congrats! The terrible twos. Hopefully not too terrible.
Yeah. Well, in the corporate culture, that's sort of like you're just still a little baby, but at the same time.
Yeah, exactly.
You've lasted 2 years, so and of course, we hit that right during the beginning of the pandemic, so it's interesting, but we were able to pull together a lot of learning from our basic little proof of concept that we started in a little 1,100 square foot proof of concept, and the both the financials and everything really showed powerfully how we were doing, and while our mission is really to help as many people as we can, obviously you have to make money to be able to do that. And that's where I sort of really was teaching Mark Westaway and with his expertise to really alter and change it. And so we've been able to attain a just premier lease at one of the most beautiful locations in Fashion Island, Newport Beach, California, and a 3,500 square foot location there that we had a top architect come in and give us really a beautiful Zen feel. and a flow through that much like a health and performance mall would look like. And featuring, we have a CVAC cellular fit pod. There's only about 50 of these available in the whole world. Tony Robbins has 2 of them. It actually cycles negative pressure to create short-term hypoxia. By sitting in the pod for 20 minutes, for an hour, you get 20 minutes of hard cardio exercise. And in all these other amazing health benefits, it actually it mimics high altitude training, so it creates natural EPO in your system, upregulates killer T cells, lots of really amazing things. So we have all these very beautiful technologies laid out in a really neat fashion, and it's for us, this is a showroom to share because we have a goal to expand nationally and to help as many people as we can.
Man, that's awesome, John. So that being said, if somebody's listening to this and they want to learn more about O2 Health Lab or to take a visit, I mean, what's the best way for them to do that?
Well, check us out at o2healthlab.com, and they could call us anytime. I'd love to show them. We have our premier location really is in Fashion Island, just opened up in the last few weeks, and we're still waiting for a few things to come in from the shipments that have been delayed for a few months due to everything going on, but we're super excited, and we also have another location up in Placentia with a world champion trainer who trains all these top Olympians and champion athletes, called the Training Lab. So we have a facility up there that people can come take a look at, and we also have a facility in South County, Orange, in Mission Viejo. So love to have them come by, stop by. The o2healthlab.com has all sorts of information, and would love to see if we could help supercharge their individual self-care.
That's awesome. Well, John, really appreciate you coming on the show again and sharing more about all the great work that you're doing over at O2 Health Lab. And to the audience, as always, thank you for tuning in. Hope you got a lot of value out of this. If you did, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast, leave a review on the Apple iTunes Store. And if you're watching this on our YouTube channel, Mission Matters Business, definitely give us a subscribe there, but also leave us some comments in the video. Love to know what kind of projects and things that you're working on. And John, thanks again for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Adam.